let's uh, uh, just go through the sta- the things that we had discussed in our earlier session. It was that Astavakra said that you know the duties that we have and the the pairs of opposite. That is, the mind is a pair of opposite. So, person who knows whose are these whose are these duties and whose are these non-duties and whose are this mind, the person who knows this person is the one who have attained the self, and uh, and for him there is only non-attachment and indifference to any action. So this was uh, the the subject that we had discussed in our last session. So we'll continue the second verse, and this is what the second verse says. कस्यापि तात धन्यस्य लोक चेष्टा अवलोकनात् जीवितेच्छा बुभुक्षु वा विभुत्सोपम सोप उपशर्म gataha. It says that when we live our life, when we are in this life, we have you know we have interest in our life, the desire of we have many desires. So we think that our life is all about fulfilling these desires, but it is not like that. Once we run after these desires, then we understand that these desires never gets fulfilled. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna had said one thing, that uh, that that kam rupena konteya dushpurena analena cha. That is, these desires are 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 these desires are that fire which never gets extinguished. It only burns. Like when we run after any desire, we will see that every desire that we have, if we run after one desire, we see that after some time those desires changes its form. They change its form, and we come across a completely new desire. But this desire has changed its form. So now when we run after that desire, we see that this desire has also changed, and we are in another track. So in this way, our life is only just running after these desires. And that is why Ashtavakra says that when you see that this life is only about running after these desires, or bubukshu. Bubukshu means happiness, or attaining this happiness. Again, this one, we say that we want to be happy in our life. Without spirituality, without your mind being calm, you can never experience happiness. You can experience excitement. You can be excited about happiness, but you will never experience happiness. And the happiness that you experience is not happiness, because this happiness again changes its form into unhappiness. It does not stay. You cannot have eternal happiness in your life. Though the goal of our life is to attain happiness, everybody, they have this within their mind that at some point in their life they are going to be happy, but they see that their whole life has passed by, but they have never experienced that happiness which they have longed for. So that this little happiness that we have, these are actually not happiness. So to think that these happiness are true is a great ignorance. It's great stupidity. So we need to look for the real happiness, and the real happiness only comes when we attain a serene mind, a calm mind, and then we see that we become happy, because happiness is something which does not come from outside. Happiness is something which is from inside. We are all bliss absolute. We all have happiness within ourselves, and we have to go up to that point within ourselves to reach that happiness, to feel that happiness. If we try to fulfill ourselves with the happiness that comes from outside, we will see that they do not stay, they changes and they makes us unhappy, they makes us depressed. But if we go inside, and there within us, when we find the source of happiness, when we find the source of that bliss, then we discover an eternity of happiness, an eternity of infinite happiness, an eternity of infinite joy and infinite bliss, that which does not leave us. So a person who has interest in life, a person who has interest in the happiness which this life offers, or this world offers, or bubutso poshomanam gataha, and a person who wants to have this worldly knowledge. This person who wants to have worldly knowledge, when a person observes this life very, very carefully, it says that that person is really blessed. That person is really blessed who observes this life very, very carefully, very, very attentively, with wisdom. There he finds that this interest of life, the desires of life, the happiness which the world offers, or the knowledge this world offers, these are just false. They are very trivial. They are very trivial to what we have within ourselves. And thus that person, he goes away from that. He moves away from that. He becomes detached from there. We are talking about detachment. We are talking about unattachment. So how can we attain unattachment? In the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna said that Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. Lord Krishna says that you have to see every aspect of your life. Spirituality does not say that you have to close your eyes. Spirituality will never say that you have to retreat. You have to retreat from this life. It will never say. It will tell you that you be in the life. You be in each and every action. But within this action, within these life events, try to see every event. Try to discriminate this. Try to judge every aspect of your life without judging others. Try to judge yourself. Try to judge the events that are happening within your life. You will see that each and every event that is happening within your life, whether they are happiness or sorrow, their profit or their loss, their success or their failure, you will see that this is only it only brings melancholy, it only brings sorrow, it only brings frustration. We always have these feelings that we are deprived of something. It brings the self of deprivation. We always think that we have not received that which we really deserve. We have this feelings of being left out. We think that we are all left out. So why do we have this feeling? Though we have attended each and every aspect of our life, it says that the world has nothing to offer. The world has nothing to offer. You are fulfilled within your own. Everything is within you. The whole universe, its treasures, everything is within you. There is nothing outside. There is nothing outside. Everything is within you, and you need to go up to that point. You need to go up to that space where everything is. Where everything is. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna said that Nasate vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. That which is truth will always exist, and that which is not true will never exist. So, everything that we have in our life, These are the things which, they exist at some time. They exist for some time, but they don't exist for eternity. They change their form. They change, they mutate. There's a transformation in everything. There's a transformation, but there is something which does not change. There is something which does not transform, mutate. That is called the self. That is called the self. And you need to find that. You need to find that existence. That existence is you. It says, Swabhava Adhatma Uchyate. Swabhava means your own existence. The knowledge of your own existence is called spirituality. Spirituality is nothing but the knowledge of your own existence. Who are you? Who are you? From where did you come? And where you are heading for? This knowledge is called spirituality. Why did you come here? What is the purpose of your life? And where do you go? And why do you go? Why do you have to leave? And is there any place where where is there any place which is better than this? Or this is the only truth? Is this what we see in front of our eyes? This is the only truth? Or there is something which is better than that, higher than that? These all questions, these are the questions of spirituality. And when this question comes to you, you have to know that the answers are also, within these questions. The answers are not outside. Because the questions comes from your within, the answer also is within. You need to search within the question. You need to search from where did this question come. And the moment you search that place from where this question has come, you will find that you have come to the solution. You have come to the answers. So it says that nasti buddhir yuktasya nacha yuktasya bhavana nacha bhava yata shanti ashantasya kuto sukham. It says that without knowledge, without the help of knowledge, knowledge means the knowledge of the self. Without the help of the knowledge of the self, you can never meditate. Means your mind cannot concentrate in one point. If you need to concentrate in one point, you need to get the help of knowledge. And with the help of knowledge, you can concentrate at one point. And when you have concentrated at one point, nacha yuktasya bhavana, nacha bhava yata shanti. And if you cannot concentrate in one point, if you cannot meditate, you will never have peace. So for peace, to attain peace, you need to be able to meditate. And how can you meditate? If you take the help of knowledge. And then it says, Nasti buddhir yuktasya, nacha yuktasya bhavana, nacha bhava yata shanti, ashantasya kuto sukham. If you cannot meditate, you will never have peace. And if you do not have peace, you will never have happiness in your life. You will never have joy. You will never be happy. So, to be happy, you need knowledge always. And how can I have knowledge? How can I attain that knowledge? Only by detachment. Only by detachment. Only by non-attachment. When I see the life events, when I see the life events, I see that these events does not give that which I expect. These events does not give that which I deserve, which I long for. But I cannot go beyond that. I cannot leave them. Why? Because I am very badly attached to each and every life event. I am very attached to each and every aspects of my life. I am very attached to each and every relationships that I have made in this world. And for me, these are very true. And because they are very true, I cannot get rid of them. And because I cannot get rid of them, I am always unhappy, always anxious. I'm always anxious to be so, to get the knowledge, get the help of the knowledge, which is within us. This knowledge is the guiding factor. It's always guiding me. Either I know it or not know. Either I am aware of that knowledge or not, the knowledge is always there, it is always guiding us. But because our mind is always directed towards the external object, though we have that guidance, do not become aware, we are not aware about that. So once we, once we once we start to look within, then we see that there is the presence of this knowledge within me. And when I discover the presence of knowledge within me, then I start to feel that knowledge, I start to feel that happiness, I start to feel that peace within me. I become happy. So detachment does not mean to just retreat from each and every life events. Detachment, the goal of detachment is to reach happiness in your life. The goal of detachment is to reach eternity, immortality. Immortality. You are always immortal. You have no death. You have no birth. But to know this, you need to detach from each and every, bondages that has been binding you. Each and every aspect that has been aspecting you. You need to detach from that. And that is what it says, that, you need to watch each and every aspect of the life very, very carefully. Kasyapita dhanyasya lokacheshta avalokanath. Here spirituality does not say that close your eyes. Close your eyes, go to the cave, retreat from your life. Spirituality never says this. Spirituality is telling you, go and watch each and every thing that is happening with you in the external world. Watch them, judge them, discriminate, and get detached. Then it says, Anityam sarvame vedam tapatraya dushitam asaram ninditam heyamiti nishchitya samyati. It says that when you see the world carefully, when you see your mind, for Vedanta, world means mind. Everything which is in the external world, they are within yourself. They are within your mind. Your mind, this mind, everything that you see outside are being projected from your mind. Whatever you see outside, whatever you experience outside, they don't exist outside. They are within you. They are being projected in the external world. So the world is not the world outside. The world is your mind. So what is this world? What is this world? Astavakra is describing this world. What is it? Anityam. It is not real. It is not real. So the thoughts that are coming, the thoughts that are coming, they are not real. They are all unreal. They are, you see them, but they don't exist. Like we see the sky is blue. For us, for a child, if you ask this child, he will say the sky is blue. But a person who has the knowledge of sky or space, he knows that space does not have any color. Space does not have any color. But it is also true that when we see the sky, we see it blue. We see it blue. So, though we see the sky blue, it's not blue. It does not have any color. In the same way, though this world that we experience in the external, in the external world, as well as in the internal world in the form of mind, though they appear to be very, very true, apparently they are so true, so real, but in reality, they are not real. If you search them, if you dive deep into your thought, you will see the thought is a composition of two things. One is subject and the other is object. The object is matter. The object is matter, but this object is brought to my consciousness by another consciousness, by a subject, and that is called subject. So the subject is the consciousness. But when I see the thought, I am only aware about the object. I am not aware about the subject. So once I dive deep into the thought, once I try to discriminate my thought, once I try to dissect my thought, what is this thought? Then I see that the matter part of the thought has vanished. It's gone. The only thing that remains is the subject. That is what I am. That is what I am. So the thought which I was experiencing was not actually the thought, it was the object that was projected to me by the subject, which which always remained in the background. Once I dive deep into that, into the thought, I found that it is not a thought, it is actually the self, it is actually consciousness. So the thought is unreal, and that is what it's saying. Anityam. It is not true, it is not real. Sarva me vedam. Whatever I know, whatever I see, whatever I see in front of me, they're all non-real. Then, and they are tapatraya dushitam. They are all, they're all inflicted by three kinds of sins. Three kinds of sins, three kinds of sorrow. What are these sorrow? What are the three kinds of sin? It's called Adi Bhuta, Adi Daiva, and Adhatmik. These are three kinds of suffering. It's called Tapa. Tap means suffering. Traya means three. So each and every thought is actually associated with three kinds of suffering. One is called Adi Bhuta, one is called Adi Daiva, and one is called Adhatmik. Adi Bhuta means the sufferings which comes to me from the nature. That is called Adi Bhuta. Adi Daiva, the sufferings that comes to me from destiny. From destiny, that is called Adi Daiva. And Adhatmik, the sufferings which are caused by my body and mind. Our body and mind also makes us suffer. So that is called Adhatmik sufferings. So these are the three sufferings. So each and every thought, they are associated with these three sufferings. So if you follow these thoughts, as real, they will only lead you towards these three sufferings. And you will keep suffering. You will keep suffering. And that is why life is only about suffering. A person who has lived his entire life, if you ask him, what did you find? He will say, it's only sufferings. It's only sufferings. It's nothing more than that. So, Anityam sarva me vedam tapatraya dushitam asaram. It does not have any content. It does not have any substance. These thoughts or this world which you see outside, it does not have, though it seems to be having existence, though it seems to be having substance, but it does not have any substance. It is substanceless. Asaram. It does not have any value. Ninditam, ninditam. It should be criticized. Here criticized means it should be abandoned. Here criticize does not mean that you need to criticize it. It's not like that. It says that you need to abandon it. You need to leave it. Renounce it. Renounce it. So asaram, ninditam, heyamiti, they are all trivial. They are very trivial, and because of that, you should not, engage yourself in the explanation, in the explanation or in the investigation of this world or interpretation in this world. You don't need that. What do you need? Nishchitya samyati. If you are very firm in this, that this world which seems to be so real is actually not real. The world which seems to be so tempting has to be renounced. It has to be renounced. It has to be left behind. And the world which seems to be so valuable to us, so expensive, so valuable, it is actually very trivial. So once you have this firmness within you, then you will have samyati, you will have calmness, you will become quiet, you will become serene. You will have peace. You will have peace within you. You will not be distracted. Each and every person of this world is distracted. Why? Why people are distracted? Because people run after this world. People run after their mind, or their mind makes them run after them. But a person who knows that this mind is not true, the person who knows this world is not true, for him, he attains peace, he attains calmness. Then it says, Kaso kalo vayah kimba yatra dwandati no nunam. So, when is that time? When is that time that there was no, there was no contradictions? When is that time that there was no, opposites? Dwandani means there was no opposite, means this and that. There was no contradiction. There was always a contradiction. Always there is this pair of opposites. If you see happiness, at the same time you will see sorrow. If you gain something, at the same time, in that gain there is something to be lost. If you have success, in that success there is failure. If there is failure, in that failure there is some success. So there is always this pair of opposite. It says that there is no time that this pair of opposites does not exist. Always there is pair of opposites. So a person has to get rid of that. A person has to practice himself, in such a way. He has to build himself in such a way that he does not get distracted in this pair of opposites. When we see our mind also is the same. It is also the pair of opposites. In the mind, we have, positive and negative aspects. Once there is a thought of something which we need to do, at the same time, there will be another thought which will restrict us from doing that. So these two will come, at the same time. One will make you, go to the world to do something, and the other will stop you. So these two always runs within us. This is called the pair of opposites. In Vedanta it says Sankalpa and Vikalpa. This is a pair of opposites. Astavakra says that it is always there, this pair of opposites. Tan upeksho yatha praptim avartim. When you see this pair of opposite, the only thing that you need to do is to ignore it. Don't engage yourself in that. Don't engage yourself into that. Be calm, be quiet. What you need to do will come from within. Where you need to search, what you need to search, where you need to search, what you need to do, everything will come from within. And if you yatha prapta prati, so how will you ignore this? How will you ignore this pair of opposites? The only way to ignore this pair of opposites is to do whatever comes to you. Whatever comes. You do not need to do anything. Just observe. Just stay as an observer. Become the witness of yourself. Become the witness of the mind. Don't engage in the mind. Become the witness of the mind. Be the observer and see what comes. Whatever comes, do. In the Bhagavad Gita also it says, Yadricha lava santushto dandatita bimatsara. Yadricha lava santushto. It says that, the wise man, how is this wise man? What is the characteristics of this wise man? He is Yadricha lava santushto. Whatever comes to him, he is happy with that. He does not, indulge into I did not get this, I did not get that, I deserve this, he does not indulge in all this. He is happy with whatever comes. Yadricha lava santushto. And then it says, Dandatita. Dandatita means a person who does not who is happy with whatever comes, that person is the one who can get rid of these pairs of opposite. Dandatit. Dvanda means, this pair of opposites. There's always this, fight going on between yes and no, yes and no. There's a fight going on. Atit means going beyond that. Going beyond that. So a person who is always, who accepts everything which comes with, with grace, with gratitude, with happiness, with satisfaction. This is the person who goes beyond this pair of opposites, goes beyond this pair of contradictions. Yadricha lava santusto dandatita bimatsara. And once he goes beyond this pair of opposites, he reaches the space which is called bimatsara, means he goes beyond all sufferings. For him, there is no sufferings. It's also from Bhagavad Gita, and it is what has been said here, that you need to, you need to ignore this pair of opposites, and you need to do everything which comes to you with grace. Tan upeksha yatha prapta vrati. You need to, you need to engage yourself in that which is coming to you spontaneously, effortlessly. Siddhim abapnuyat, and that is the only way to attain siddhi, success, enlightenment. The only way to attain enlightenment is, not getting in this, getting engaged in this pair of opposites, ignoring it, and accepting everything which comes to you with happiness. And that is how you attain, enlightenment, success in your life. You attain the goal of your life. So then it says, Nana matam mahishinam sadhunam yoginam tatha drashtva nirveda mapanya kona shamyati manava. It says there are so many philosophers, there are so many sages. In the Upanishads, it says that ekam sad vipra bahuda vadanti. There's only one truth. There's only one truth. But there are sages who have described it in many, many ways. Like it says that, we have one Everest. We have one Everest. But there is, many paths to reach that Everest. You can go from Nepal, you can go from India, you can come from China, you can come from Tibet, you can go from anywhere, you will reach Everest. In the same way, the goal is one, but there are so many paths, and the person who follows that path, he will express that goal, that that reality according to his path. A person who has reached that state of oneness through duality, he will talk about duality. A person who have reached that goal of that oneness with with this qualified non-dualism, he will talk about qualified non-dualism. And the person who have reached that goal by non-dualism, he will talk about non-dualism. So apparently, when we see that there is a difference, there is a contradiction in each and every teachings. Somebody says something, somebody says the other. But actually, they're talking about the same, they're talking about the same existence. They're talking about the same entity. That entity is not different. And people get distracted. He is saying this, he is saying that, he is, the other person is saying this, and then we get distracted. It says that there are so many people, there are so many sages, Nana matam mahishinam sadhunam yoginam tatha. There are so many, conclusions, principles which have been given to us by the rishis, by the seers of truth, by the sages, or by the yogis. They've given so many, principles. Drashtva nirvedamas upanya. And by knowing, by seeing this, oh wow, these teachings are all contradictory. Why should I, why should I fall into this? Why should I fall into this? I don't need to fall into this. The only thing that I need to do is to be desireless. To be desireless, because desires are the only thing which are my bondage. The reason for my bondage is my desires. The reason for my ignorance is my desires. I am that knowledge. Aham Brahmasmi. I am that knowledge. I am that existence. I am that consciousness. I am that consciousness. But I cannot feel, myself as my consciousness only because of my desires. In the Bhagavad Gita, there's a very, beautiful expression of illustration of what desires can do to us. What the desires does to us. It says, Dhayate Vishaya Pungsham Shangasteshu Pajayate. When we go into this world and try to accumulate the objects of this world, try to accumulate the treasures of this world, try to accumulate the wealth of this world, what happens? Shangasteshu Upajayate. We get attached to each and every things that we encounter unknowingly. With some we do it knowingly, and the rest we get attached unknowingly. So what does this attachment does? Sangyat Sanjayate Kaman. This attachment gives birth to desires. So this is where the real problem starts. The problem of life is not what is in the outer surface. The problem in life is not because we are ignorant. The problem of life is because we have these desires within us. Sangat Sanjayate Kaman. With this attachment, we give birth to desires. Now what the desire does? The desires Kamat Krodho Vijayate. These desires never gets fulfilled. As we have already said, that these desires are a fire which does not get extinguished. They does not become peace. They does not stop. It's always burning. So because the desires are always burning, they produce anger within us. Anger. Kamat krodho vijayate. Now what does anger do to us? Krodhat bhavati sammoha. The anger completely, when the anger completely overtakes, what happens? It completely hypnotizes us. We get occupied completely by by anger. We get occupied completely, we are taken over. We are taken over by anger. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Sammohat smriti vibhrama. And with this, hypnotism that the anger has done, we have this loss of memory. We forget everything. We act in a completely new way, in a bizarre way. We act in a completely, a way which will give sorrow to everybody, which makes people amazed. What is this happening? Everybody is awestruck. Everybody becomes awestruck. What is this happening? Why is he acting like this? Because he is taken over by anger. So krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhrama. He forgets everything. He has this loss of memory. Smriti bhrangshat buddhi nasho. With this loss of memory, his wisdom is completely destroyed. Whatever wisdom he has, whatever power of discrimination he has, it's completely destroyed. Smriti bhrangshat buddhi nasho. And when the wisdom is destroyed, when a person's power of discrimination is destroyed, buddhi nashat pranashati. When a person's wisdom is destroyed, he is completely destroyed. He is actually completely destroyed. So this is what desires does. So that is why we always need to be unattached. We always need to be unattached. And that is, it says that nirvedam, nirvedamapanyam, you need to be completely desireless. And this, by being desireless, you will have kona samyati manava, and with desire and with being desireless, who is the one who does not attain peace? If a person is desireless, he will attain peace. He will attain happiness, joy, bliss, consciousness. He will attain the goal of his life. Okay. So today we stop here. If you have any question,